Well, hello, and welcome to Thursday's math lesson. We are going to be working on solving some word problems where we're calculating averages or totals. So for today, you're going to need your basic supplies. You're going to need either a whiteboard or notebook and your textbook. We're going to be looking at some word problems. So first of all, we're going to do two of the problems from your textbook on page 42. So if you'll open up to page 42, let's take a look at a typical word problem here where we would need to calculate either average or total or use some of those values to figure out an unknown. So, number 13 on page 42 says, the average height of two boys is 1.55 meters. The height of one boy is 1.62 meters. What is the height of the other boy? Okay, so it's best really to draw a model here so that we can get a visual picture of what it is that we need to calculate. So let's take a look at what we're being given here. So we're being given the average height of two boys, and we're being given the height of one boy, and we're being asked to find the height of another. So let's go ahead and draw a model for this. So we've got, we're going to draw a bar, and we can go ahead and say that this is representing the heights of boys. Okay, so we know that they're not the same height, and there's just two boys, right? So we can divide this bar in two. Now, they're not going to be equal units because we know that one boy is one height, and we're trying to figure out the height of the other. So we really don't know. It doesn't matter, but let's just divide it, say, here. Well, let's take a look at what we are given. We're given that the average height of the two boys is 1.55 meters. So we can use that average to determine the total height, right? Because we know that the total is the average times the number of groups. So I've been given a clue as to the total amount of this bar here. So I can go ahead and bracket the bar, and I can write in that the total is going to be the average times the two units. So 1.55 meters times 2 is my total value there for the whole bar. Hopefully that makes sense. All right. Now, I'm also given that the height of one boy is 1.62 meters. So let's go ahead and just pick one and bracket it and fill in the value that this boy is 1.62 meters. And what I'm being asked to find is the height of the other boy. So this other unit is what I'm being asked to find. So here's a picture of what I've been given, my given information, and what I'm asked to find. So when you fill that in, hopefully you can see that the way to solve for this is to calculate that total and subtract this piece, the height of one of the boys, from that total to give you the height of the other boy. So once you draw it in a picture, it becomes fairly obvious as to how you will solve it. So the first step is to calculate the total. So the total height then is going to be equal to 1.55 meters times 2. And when you make that calculation, you would determine that 3.10 meters is the total height of the boys. All right, so that's the total. And now to find the unknown, I'm just going to take that total and I'm going to subtract the height of the first boy to find out the height of the second boy. It's that simple. So to find out the height of that second boy, I'm going to take 3.10 meters and I'm going to subtract 1.62 meters from that. And when I calculate that algorithm, I should find that this boy is 1.48 meters. That is his height, 1.48 meters. And so therefore, the other boy's height is 1.48 meters. Okay, that was number 13. All right, we're going to move on to number 14 on the same page there. So, let me erase this. And let's take a look at the second word problem that we're being asked to solve here on page 42. All right, number 14 says, move it up here. It says, the average cost of 3 books is $4.50. The average cost of 2 of the books is $3.90. Find the cost of the 3rd book. Okay, so again, we really need to draw a model to really visualize and see what it is we're solving for here. So we're obviously looking at costs of books. So that's what we can title our bar here. Okay, so let's go ahead and draw a bar to represent all of our information here. And how many units do we divide it into? Well, we're looking at 3 different books here and 3 different costs. Now we know that the 3 books don't all cost the same amount, so the units are not necessarily equal. So, maybe you could draw one like this and one like that, and one like that. So we've got these 3 different books. They're all different prices. But we do know, what we are given is we're given that the average cost of the 3 books is $4.50. So really we're given the total cost, because we know that to calculate the total, we take the average and we multiply it by the number of items in the group. So just like we did in the last problem, we can go ahead and bracket the entire bar, and we can label this as $4.50 times 3. Because we were told that the average cost of all 3 books was $4.50. Okay, what else are we given? We are also given that the average cost of 2 of the books is $3.90. So it doesn't matter which 2 you choose. Let's just choose the first 2. We know that the average cost of those 2 books is $3.90, which again gives us the clue to the total. So the total for those 2 books would be $3.90 times 2. And then we're being asked to find the cost of the 3rd book. So once we've filled in all of our information, you can see, just like the last problem, we can easily find our unknown here by first finding the whole, the amount for the whole, all 3 books, and then calculating the amount for these 2 parts and subtracting those 2 parts from the whole to get that unknown part. So, step 1 is calculating the total cost of all books. The total is going to be equal to $4.50 times 3. And when you calculate that total, you should get $13.50. All right, so that's what the whole, all 3 books all together cost. Now, the total for the first 2 books, first 2 of those books is going to be the average of those 2 times 2. That's going to be $3.90 times 2. And when you perform that calculation, you need to go off to the side and do the algorithm. You should get that it is $7.80 was the total price of the first 2. So the whole is $13.50. The first 2 parts are $7.80. So all I need to do is subtract the part from the whole to get the final part. So, cost of the 3rd book is equal to $13.50 minus $7.80. When you perform that calculation, set your algorithm up off to the side, you should find that the 3rd book costs $5.70. It's that simple. Third mystery book. Costs $5.70. Okay, so these are two example word problems where you'd be calculating average or using average to calculate total. Now that's really all that the book gives you as an example, but I have another example from the intensive practice. I'm going to pause the video here in a minute. I'm going to write it up on the board because you don't have intensive practice with you. But there's another good example I'd like for us to work through before you go home, or before you are home, before you start working on your workbook practice. So let me pause the video here. I'm going to erase the board, then I'm going to get a new problem up on the board that's very similar to the two that we've worked through, and we'll work through that third problem.